Mark Hal with Grounded Truths LLC here out of Doniphan, Missouri. We'll be at the center line of the path to totality for the 2024 Great American Eclipse. You should come out and join us. So I'm starting a little series. I'm calling it Umbral Truths, and it's basically about the solar eclipses that are taking place here, that have taken place and are going to take place here. We have the past one in 2017, where that's going to be the focus of today, where I was and what I was doing, how this all worked out in Eastern Oregon. Then we're going to talk about the annular eclipse coming up October 14th of 2023, here in a couple of months, and then the total eclipse, which is going to take place in the eastern U.S. on April 8th of 2024. So I'm going to rewind a little bit. In 2016, I showed up. I've been a lifelong Californian, born and raised, and in 2016, I made the jump. I decided I was going to look outside the state for other opportunities, other places to be. A friend of mine hit me up. He says, "Hey, we're starting a fire prevention program on the Malheur National Forest. You should come on up. That's your jam. That's what you want to do. You have great ideas. You should put in for this and come up." So I did. I got the job. February of 16, I show up in John Day, Oregon, right here. And a few months in, I'm Mr. Collaboration and Cooperation, building those relationships with the community, with our stakeholders, our cooperators. And so one of our big cooperators, the State Fire Marshal's Office, the regional field deputy out there, hits me up and he says, "Hey, man, did you know there's an eclipse coming?" I was like, "No, I didn't. Had no idea. But all right, let's talk about that." He says, "Yeah, it's going to be a big deal. We're having a meeting in June. We're having a meeting to discuss this eclipse and start planning for it." I said, "All right, cool. I can listen in and come to your meeting and see what you got." So I show up. And so Tammy Bremner, the manager of the Chamber of Commerce for Grant County, Oregon, Dave Fields, a few other cooperators are all there, along with some of the public. And we're talking about what the possibilities of potentials are. And some of the things I heard, there's going to be 70,000 people coming to here, specifically to the Northeast Oregon province. So that's basically, you see the path totality here. Over here you have kind of the Ochco is right around over here, and then the South Fork John Day splits between the Ochco and the Malheur. The Malheur comes up and around over through here. The Umatilla, the southern piece of the Umatilla, North Fork John Day Ranger District is within the totality, as is the Whitman Fire Zone, the Wallowa Fire Zone of the Wallowa-Whitman National Forest, which is kind of over here. So some of what we hear is pretty concerning, right? We hear about horror stories that, oh my God, people are going to be fighting. So there's only 2 grocery stores in this entire area here, John Day, Chester's, and then up here in Prairie City, there's Huffman's. So there's 2 grocery stores for this entire area, all around, actually all the way out here to Mitchell, and then up and around. There's no grocery stores up here. Baker City has some. But that's really it for this whole area. There's 2 grocery stores. We're told that people are going to be fighting over the last loaf of bread and the last case of water. The gas stations, again, there's like one in John Day, one in Canyon City, which is kind of grown together with John Day just south of here. There's a gas station, a couple of them up in Prairie City. And other than that, that's pretty much it for your fuel. There was one in Seneca and one in Long Creek here. So we were told to expect these mass riots, people fighting over campgrounds, and it's just going to be such a mess and such a horror show. And so I'm like, man, we got a plan for this. So I start bumping the info up the chain and told, "Hey, weeds and trees, bro. Your Forest Service, we worry about weeds and trees. We don't worry about what's going to happen in the cities, etc. Not our shindig, not our job, not our deal." I say, well, what's happening in the cities is going to spill out into the forest and cause us issues. After all, these cities, so John Day has like 2 hotels. Canyon City had a couple motels. Prairie City had a couple motels and some RV parks. But really, in terms of places to stay, there just wasn't the capacity here. And you're going to see that in a lot of rural areas. You don't have the capacity. People want to be right here. So this blue line is the center line of the path totality. That is where you're going to get the longest and best eclipse experience. So people want to be right along that blue line, right? they'll accept, maybe they'll come to Seneca, maybe they'll go to Long Creek, maybe they'll go to Baker. If they have no other options, they might move somewhere out along the edge of totality. But man, everybody wants to be right here on the center. So I want to step back for a second and let's talk about a couple terms. So this last June, 2023, I was at the American Astronomical Society's Solar Eclipse Planning Workshop in Albuquerque. I was both a presenter and an attendee. And someone coined the terms me eclipse and we eclipse. So I want to go west here, young man, for just a moment, and let's talk about the we eclipse. So I'm zooming in here on Madras, Oregon, at SolarFest 2017, where I found some articles and I did some research and I talked to some folks. Actually, my buddy, Regional State Fire Marshal Dave Fields, lives in Madras and was present in Madras for the events out there. And so SolarFest, this is right here, smack in the middle of, this is Madras High School. So this is smack in the middle of the town of Madras. As you can see, it's not a large town at all. The actual population normally is about 7,500 people. There were 50,000 people that came to Madras for the SolarFest. 50,000 people. So I want you to wrap your head around that. That's about 7 to 8 times the population of this town. 7 to 8 times the population of this town came to one little spot to camp and have fun and enjoy an eclipse. And where are they in relation to the path totality, right? They are right off the center line. In terms of the bigger picture, as I zoom out here, they are pretty close to the center line of totality. Same thing down here, Symbiosis Gathering. This is Big Summit Prairie, which is east of Prineville, Oregon, and south of Mitchell, Oregon. Now, mind you, this is a large private ranch within the Ochco National Forest. And so they managed to put 30,000 people in here for a long weekend. Now, here's the thing with the we eclipse, is the we eclipse is the big production. It's the big deal. And you're going to have lots of people there. This is everyone gets together, cram-packed in a stadium or a field or whatever, and it's the group combined experience, and everybody's cheering and clapping, and there's a really good, and I'll try and clip it in here, there's a really good news article they did about these eclipses and one at Saluki Stadium in Carbondale, Illinois. And so everybody's clapping and cheering, oh yeah! So then there's the me eclipse, and we're going to move over here to the John Day Valley and the surrounding Blue Mountains here, because that was the me eclipse experience. That's what we had in John Day, in this area. We had a lot of just individual groups. There was no large planned events. There were no big shows. Nobody gathered in, John Day Stadium, because there isn't one. So there was no big gathering. There was no big party. There were, and Tammy insists, there were about 70,000 people in this little gray area here, and I'd believe it, because over the course of the weeks, the 2 weeks coming up, and especially the week before the eclipse and the weekend directly before, every single forest road, I drove most of this gray area here. Every single flat piece of ground had a camp on it. Every single campground, official designated U.S. Forest Service, has the sign, welcome to Magoon Lake Campground. Magoon Lake, somewhere right around over here, right off the path totality as well. Every single official campground full up. Every piece of flat ground around here full up. So coming back to this, what does this mean for your community? And again, this is also kind of aimed at those eclipse skeptics that are, people aren't going to show up. It's not going to happen. Well, I'll tell you, I was kind of on that same page back in 2016. I went to that meeting and I listened to the projections of the people that were going to come and all the problems we were going to have. And I was cautiously skeptical, we'll say. That many people are going to come to just hear I mean, to put into perspective how remote this is, Grant County, Oregon is 4,600 square miles. There are 7,500 people in Grant County, Oregon. That's pretty much 1.4 people per square mile. To say this area is remote is the ultimate understatement. The nearest airports to this area are 3 hours away. One way. I was like, people are going to come to here to watch the sun go out for 2 minutes. 2 minutes and 8 seconds. That's it. They're really going to do that. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. And I will tell you, as the skeptic, I sat there and I had my own me eclipse. And I sat there and I looked up. I watched the shadow kind of start to hit. And I was sitting right here at Dixie Summit. And I remember looking up and totality and seeing Bailey's beads in the corona and just being like, wow. And that's the me eclipse experience, right? Versus the we eclipse. The we eclipse is cheering and screaming and clapping and all this other stuff. And the me eclipse is just awe. It's just looking up and saying, wow. After that, car doors started slamming, totality's over. Everybody's had our 2 minutes of darkness and car doors start slamming and all the 70,000 people around here, most of them decided 3 minutes after totality, yep, time to go. And so car doors started slamming, people start pulling out and driving the highways, and all of the highways here. 395 was backed up for hours, going north and south, 26 east and west, 7 east, backed up all the way. And so that's one of the biggest things that I would give you, looking at the totality of the experience. Yes, it's a bit of a pun, but the totality of the experience and circumstances. Yes, people will come. And the 2024 total eclipse is going to be over twice the length of darkness of totality. It's going to be 4 minutes and 30 seconds here in Donovan. People are going to come for that. And if you don't plan, if you don't make the event planning conducive to keeping people around, plan some extra events after totality. Plan to do something that afternoon, that evening, because if you don't, the highways are going to be backed up for hours. And that's one of the messaging things that I came up with and I thought about was, put a this or this meme up. You could show a meme with the LA style traffic just backed up for miles. Or you could show your concert or party or whatever it is you're planning for the after show. And just tell people, hey, if you're going to be stuck somewhere for 2 to 3 hours, would you rather be here having fun at the party, or would you rather be sitting in your car? If it's useful and helpful in any way, shape, or form, please make sure and subscribe for more of this content, because I'm going to be doing a lot more with the eclipses. Again, my concept of this company is yes, it's public safety, yes, it's fire management, yes, it's community wildfire protection, but it's also things like this. There are not a lot of people who have significant event planning experience for especially for large incidents, large events, things like this. There's not a whole lot of people. I'm one of them. So I would like to, within reason, share the pointers, tips, tricks, and things I've learned over years of doing this in fire management and law enforcement. So please keep that subscribe button and let me know what you think. Drop a line in the comments. What was your eclipse experience like? Was it a we eclipse, a me eclipse, something in between? Anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good day.